For section 5.4 part 2, we're talking about using slope-intercept form and points to write an equation. So your essential question is, how do I write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form if I know two of the points that the line passes through? So let's see how we get from 2 points to an equation. So a graph shows that after 3 hours of skating, the total cost is $57. It also shows that after 5 hours of skating, the total cost is $65. Write an equation in slope-intercept form that models this situation. So let's think about that. It says a graph shows that after 3 hours of skating, the total cost is $57. So let's just say we have a graph here on the side. And I'm just drawing an estimate. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After 3 hours of skating, the cost is $57. So let's do 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. So this will be 70. We'll count by 10, so you get the point. Okay, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is just a rough estimate. So after 3 hours, it's about $57, 30, 40, 50. So it's about here. Okay, that's 357. And after 5 hours, the cost is $65. That'd be in between 60 and 70. And they want to know what is the equation of the line, that's a really curvy line, that passes through these 2 points. So we have to think about how we can find that out. Well, we've learned the equation for slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So in this equation, y equals mx plus b, we need to know two things to write the equation. We have to know the slope, and we have to know the y-intercept in order to write the equation. So I only have 2 points that are on the line. That's all the information that I have. So what I can do is find the slope between these 2 points. So I'm going to use these 2 points, and I'm going to find the slope using my formula for slope, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So from here, I'm going to label these x1, y1, x2, y2, so we get not as confused. So we have, let's see, we have y2 minus y1, so 65 minus 57 over x2 minus x1, so 5 minus 3. So we're going to take 65 minus 57, which is 8, and 5 minus 3, which is 2. And if we reduce that, we get 4 over 1, or just 4. So that is our slope. That is m. Okay, so we've got the m. We still need to know what the y-intercept is. But I have no idea how to find what the y-intercept is over here, just from this picture. But let's look at what other information we know. I do know what one of the y coordinates is equal to. I know the m, and I do know one of the x's. And it doesn't matter which one you pick, because you can use either x and y. You just have to pick one of the points to use. So for the second step to write our equation, we're going to choose a point and use the slope to plug in the variables. So again, if we start with y equals mx plus b, I can choose one of these points. I'm going to choose to use 565. So which one is the y coordinate? Well, that would be 65. So I'm going to plug in 65 equals, I know m is 4, and x would be 5. And then I don't know what b equals. That's what I'm trying to figure out. So if I work this out, I get 65 equals 20 plus b. So I would subtract 20 from both sides to solve for b. And I would get 45 equals b. So now I should have all the necessary points or parts to my equation to write it in slope-intercept form. So now I have y equals, and what was my slope? Well, if I go back up, my slope was 4 right here. So I go back down, I have 4x plus b, and I found out that b was 45. So this would be the equation that passes through those 2 points. All right, let's try a different example. Let's say we have the slope and we also have a point. Okay, so let's say it says find the equation of a line with a slope of 4 that goes through the point 0, -2. Well, this is pretty much exactly what we just did in the last problem. Okay, slope of 4, what letter does that represent in the equation y equals mx plus b? Slope is m. So 4 is my m. Okay, and 0, -2, what do those represent? Well, that represents the x and the y. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to plug in the values for x, y, and m into my equation for slope-intercept form. So if I start with y equals mx plus b, my y value is -2, my m is 4, my x value is 0, and then I'm trying to solve for b. So I get -2 equals 0 plus b. Well, that 0 really doesn't matter, so b equals -2. And that would be my answer. Now, I still have to write my equation. It doesn't matter that I know b if I don't write the equation. So then I have to go back to my equation, and so I would write y equals, and my m was 4, x, and then my b is -2, so it'll be -2. And so that will be the equation of my line. So hopefully you guys are kind of catching a pattern. You always use the equation y equals mx plus b, and then you have to take what information you have and plug it in to find b so you can write your equation. Let's do one more example. This is writing an equation from a graph. So we just have this graph. That's all the information we have, and they want us to write an equation in slope-intercept form for this line. So when I have the equation y equals mx plus b, then what I'm going to do is I have to find my m, which is my slope, and I have to find my b, which is my y-intercept. So if you're looking at this line, can you figure out the slope of this line from looking at the graph? Well, sure you can. Slope is like rise over run. So my line is going downhill, which means it's going to be a negative slope. And to get from point A to point B, I would go down 2 and over 1. So my rise over run is going to be -2, down 2, over 1, which is -2. So my slope is -2. And then the B is the y-intercept. So if I look at this graph, which point on the graph is the y-intercept? Well, if you look, it's the point where it crosses the y-axis. This is the y, this is the x. And that point is right here, which is at 2. So if b equals 2, then my equation should say y equals -2x plus 2. So I put my m value right here and my b value right here. And this would be the answer. So to recap those steps really quick, in case you want to write these down in your notebook. First, we found the y-intercept, or the slope, either one, it doesn't matter which one you find first. The y-intercept was 2, that's the point where the line crosses the y-axis. Then we found the slope, we went down 2 and right 1 to get the slope, which is -2. And so then you write an equation in y equals mx plus b form. Okay, that is all of the notes, so remember to go back and answer the essential question for your summary. And in case you forgot to do that, the question is, how do I write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form if I know 2 of the points it passes through? And I see a typo here, so let's fix that. So this should say, how do I write? There we go. So how do I write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form if I know two of the points it passes through? Make sure you write your summary, and I will see you guys next time.